Now to 1975, and colour television finally came to Australia. It made major sporting events such as the Bathurst Classic even more compelling. This was the era of the SLR 5000 Tirana versus the XB Falcon GT. The other notable point when you look back at these races was the class structure. The field was huge and the performance variation was big too, and it covered all sorts of weird and wonderful cars.
Excitement is really mounting to fever pitch as people feel that this was going to be the fastest and the hardest 1000 ever run at Bathurst. Away they go, and Alan Moffat gets going more quickly in first gear. I don't think he's working the car hard as he lets Colin Bond jump to the front and head into the corner first. He positions himself behind Bond, runs through the corner as the rest of the field gets underway and runs and streams down the straight cleanly, all trying to find a safe position.
And a big start by John Goss, who came way up to be right alongside Alan Grice there, and is jostling for a place. He doesn't want to be too far back despite being on 10th place in the grid. And there's the view through the heat mist already rising around the Mount Panorama Circuit. The bobbing, weaving pack of 60 cars going up Mountain Straight for the first time. Oh, and already so many troubles in the pits. Jim Richards has had a few problems in the New Zealand Holden, but look at them going down the straight. You can almost see the gap there. As we pull back, you'll see the distance between the two cars. It's you can see now how the Falcon is certainly catching up to Bond, so there's no doubt who's got the legs. Alan Moffat was saying he was building the car for down the straight. Now he may be out-braked, but let's see, it's side by side. Bond is going a little later. He'll take a very difficult line on the outside. Moffat is not going to let him through. In fact, he closes up again because he knows he's got the line and he's going to shoulder Colin Bond out of it if he possibly can. And now it's all acceleration up to the line. This is only third lap, and already it is neck and neck, side by side. Imagine the cheer from the crowd. It is Bond who's got the better gearing and has more acceleration, and it is Brock behind who's closed on them both. But first in this time, and being so close to Bond's nose, is Moffat around the bend, and now Alan Moffat leads the race, and Peter Brock pulls out and decides that he might like to lead for a change, and he goes up on the outside of Colin Bond. Well, indeed. Quite 3 1/4 laps, and look at the distance between these cars. It's a real race, and Brock is the one who wants to get to the lead. Now, all sorts of trouble in the pits, but up at the top of the circuit, it's still go, 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 and it's Moffat who's going the fastest at the moment. Bond is nicely inside, though. They might be starting to slow down now, having got rid of that early surge of adrenaline, and say, right, let's remember, we've still got 158 laps to go.
They're running at just under 1 minute 32 seconds, which is well within the capability of the vehicles.
Yeah. This is Goss coming into the pits, last year's winner. The man who had so much trouble yesterday, was going quickly, but coming into the pitch in a very slow way. He's got something that's a bit troublesome there. That's fairly serious. Oil pouring around. As Kerry Luckins was saying earlier, they had trouble there. Howard Marsden, you were talking with the group last night. They had problems with their motor. In fact, they can't hold the car at this stage.
Right. The problem with John Goss was that he solved the problem that he had yesterday, but he did not do sufficient laps yesterday in practice to sort out any other problems that may show up in the vehicle, and unfortunately here he is having these problems show up immediately here today. This is one of the disadvantages of coming to this race without being totally organised.
We'll find out what the story is from Goss through Kerry when he gets over there and finds a picture. But in the meantime, Peter Brock seems to be dropping back quite a bit. You can see how close now Bond is to Moffat.
I think that's the situation. It's not that Brock's fallen down, but Bond, I would say, has been given a pit signal to go and put the pressure on Moffat.
Well, John Goss, the 1974 winner, and obviously not a winner today. We've just had news you've seized the engine, John.
Yeah, we've had a major engine failure, which is a disappointment. I think my new Falcon's got a lot of potential. We need some more development. It was a new car. This was its first race, and a lot of the minor chassis problems that we had with the car prevented us from getting into a lot of serious engine development. So we've had an engine failure, and we're out of the race.
Moffat has won the race 3 times. The last 2 years ago, the first year of the 1,000 kilometre race with Pete Gagan as co-driver, has the same man back here with him this year and has the great advantage of knowing that as a co-driver he has a man who has the ability to lap just as quickly as he can, and that's something that probably no other top team can boast in terms of an advantage. Alan Moffat then must be feeling rather content, even though it's very early days in this long race, which could go on for a total of 7 to 7.5 hours. Once again, though, that sign of oil there under the very hard centrifugal force of the cutting, which suggests that leak is certainly still there. Whether it's worsening is a bit hard to say. No more that time, I wouldn't have thought, Howard, than we saw before.
No, this could go on for a long time now. He's showing it through that particular corner, and he's showing it through the left-hander at the end of the pit straight. It means that they've got a bit of oil surge problem, which is combining with a small leak. And it may look worse than it really is, but I'd be very worried about it if I was involved with the vehicle.
Oh, Colin Bond into the pits. We'll get on to that question later on. While Bond comes in for the first stop, a scheduled stop. He was expected in around this time. Let's just watch and see how the drilled Harry Firth crew go about their action. One man adding fuel, another ready to go. One underneath checking the back tyres and differential.
Ian Tate under the back wheels, and he's adjusting the rear brakes. You see him turning the thing. This is the major problem of the brakes on the Tirana. They've only got drum brakes there, and he's adjusting them. He's well experienced in this. It's stinking hot under there. He's burning his hands doing this particular job. There'll be somebody doing it on the other side. Keeps the pedal high for the driver and gives them greater confidence in their brakes.
Oh, there's a prang in the side there. It's
Grice.
One of our leading drivers, the Alan Grice car, which has gone in the Craven Mild vehicle. Oh, you can see the disgust on his face. Whether it's a brake problem or not, I don't know, but Grice, who was running in about 3rd place at that time, he has had it. He's a very upset driver, as you can see.
Well, Alan Grice and Jim Hunter in the Craven Mild car. You've run your race. Alan, what happened?
We were lapping exactly as we set out to do. We were very happy with the pace of the race. And I came up and lapped 2 cars at the end of the straight. I went between the 2 of them, and then the 3 of us went in the braking area. There was an Escort on the inside. I don't know the car on the outside, but that's the car that hit me and just knocked us off the road. Straight into the arm car on one side and back across into the bank and into the fence. You can't do anything about that. We're just knocked out of the race by some galoot.
In fact, as Alan Moffat comes into the pits, let's forget the Class A car just a moment while we watch the leader go through his pit stop. The tyres are out, the pneumatic jack gets the car immediately. It's going to be a change of driver. Moffat gets out, will help big Pete Gagan. I emphasise the big factor there. Looks like he can't even get into the car, but it's just a question of getting the buckle out of the way. Gagan struggles into the car. The timer is on. You can see for yourself the amount of time taken there. Tyres so new that even the sticker is still on the tread.
So that's John Wynn, the team leader, who's looking after the right-hand front wheel. Peter Jeffries at the left rear. The right rear, I beg your pardon. Moffat's getting Gagan into the car. After he's got Moffat in, Gagan in, he will then talk to Gagan and tell him the weak points or the advantages of the car.
Alan Moffat, our race leader, certainly looking good for you at this stage, Alan.
Well, I don't know what kind of gap we've got, and I don't know what pit stop Colin had, but presuming our fellas were as quick, I'd say we're right there. It's certainly a race like no one's ever seen in Bathurst before, that's for sure.
Well, that was a 1:22 gap you had prior to your stop, and Colin didn't go past, so it puts Pete out there still in the lead as we have it.
That's great. That's tremendous, and it gives us a big chance on our planning now. Pete can take it easy. The boys will give him a gap right away. He'll know where he is, and he can just play it off against John Walker. I presume John Walker's in the car.
No, not yet. He's going in at the second stop.
They're playing it tight on time.
Very tricky.
Brock, in fact, is leading him now, and I think that's Jansen's car behind, which may suggest that Gagan is slowing a little bit.
Certainly the gap is increasing between Bond and Gagan.
Yes, so it's Brock in front now. 17 is Jansen behind, and he too is catching Gagan as well, something he shouldn't be doing. Gagan is a bit of a sandwich now between the 2 Tiranas. Brock has passed, he's in second spot. Jansen is having a bit of a nibble there to get by. The flags are out warning the Escorts that they've got some big fish behind them. Once again, the middle stages have proved vital in the Hardy Peroda 1000 at Bathurst. The car we're looking at, the Alan Moffat vehicle, has lost all chance of winning. Upsets with the 2 leading cars. Moffat has been in the pits with transmission troubles, couldn't select gears, had a gearbox change, and after only 40 minutes and many burnt fingers back on the track again. And Colin Bond, who was leading him in the race, has had transmission troubles. Johnny Walker at the wheel, they've been in the pits as well, and the Holden dealer team threat has vanished from the race. So the two leaders, Alan Moffat and Colin Bond, have both had disastrous sessions in the last hour, and both are now stripped from all contention.
The leader is Peter Brock there in car number 5, running second and catching him all the time, and by quite a measurable margin each lap, is Frank Gardner driving the Ron Hodgson-entered Tirana number 7. So it's going to be a great battle. It is a great battle between these two cars.
The outright leader in the Hardy Ferrota 1000. Frank Gardner still driving rapidly and safely in the Ron Hodgson Tirana. Or should I also add the Channel 7 Tirana, because the number is there for some particular reason. It bears the roundel of ATN7, so there are a few fingers crossed in the various camera towers around the circuit. 12 cameras, in fact, covering this race for you this year. He's got Alan Moffat right behind him, which makes a rather interesting sort of exercise. Moffat, of course, was the early leader in the race. Seemed to be doing it so comfortably for so long in the race, and then had a gearbox malfunction, changed the box in a remarkable 40 minutes. But 40 minutes off the circuit, of course, is far too much time to give away, and he is way down the field, much further in fact down than Colin Bond, who also had problems with the transmission. There were talk of axle replacements and other such troubles, but now they've crept up and they're running in about 5th or 6th place. So once again, the Holden dealer team car, despite that really severe transmission problem they suffered in the earlier stages of the race, is back in fair contention. Because we've got him coming in now for a pit stop. This will be a critical one as the car is brought in for what would probably be its last scheduled stop. So the race leader is in. We'll put the stopwatch on. Bob Morris talking to Frank Gardner. Hasn't got his hat on, so he doesn't intend getting in the car and taking over. So it'll be Gardner who'll stay on board and carry the race right through to the finish, I would think, if they can go that far.
Ron Hodgson there taking a keen interest in what's going on.
As is Terry Luckins down there as well, right on the spot down there. The situation is for you.
And up the top of the mountain, my goodness, there's somebody a long way off the circuit, right out there in the dust. Right out among a clump of photographers.
You can see the looks of concern on the faces of the spectators there. People still rushing to see what's happened. An awkward position for us to get much closer to bring in the information. It's been a long way up the escape road, though, that Colin Bond has come. He's going back down the main straight, and Colin really had them scattering there. So some sort of brake trouble, I'd say. He turns left now.
It's down the
turns right into the road where he should have turned left. Colin Bond went so far up there that he really had them running way up the dirt road. Now, he likes dirt roads, but that's not the reason he went up there.
Here's Bond.
Bond getting fuel. Be interested to see what they do about the brakes. They're looking at the far side of the car.